today Roberto Rueter, the founder of GAIA-Projects, also Robert Reich, the CEO of GAIA-Projects, and we've got Bryan Doreian, an advisory board member of the company. Welcome. Can't wait to talk to you about all these things. I feel like when we had a little conversation earlier, we were kind of talking about the future. You're giving us a glimpse of the future, of energy. And so, Robert, let's start with you. So just tell me a little bit about GAIA-Projects, what it is you're trying to do, and then we'll delve a little deeper.
We had the idea that out of a classical economic model, you can't create something real new. You have to think out of the box, because the problems never can be solved on the same level how they occurred. And so we started the association in 11 and became very fast more than one.
So Bryan, you're an advisory board member. Like, how are you kind of helping put all this together?
I'm also part of a DAF, it's a donor advised fund, called the SDG Impact Fund. So tying this together, the SDGs are the UN's goals that said, here are these 17 goals 193 nations signed off on that we need to meet by 2030. And they range from gender equality to number 7, which is energy.
So, and there is a device that is part of your network. So what can you tell me about that? What does it do? How will it help us live better lives?
Jane, whatever I tell you about this device, you will not believe it. Please go on our webpage, look at the videos. We are talking about a magnet generator.
A magnet generator?
A magnet generator. You start it once, and after that, it runs. And you can take up to the residential unit up to 4, 5, 6 kilowatt of energy out of it.
So it powers a home.
To power the home, to power whatever you need, and it's not stopping. It's producing energy constantly. You do not have to put primary fuel in. We are not talking about a wind generator or a solar generator or oil or anything.
How does it work?
It's a question of engineering. It's a magnetic field. Our whole universe is full of magnetic fields, and the question is how to adapt to that. And we try to explain that in videos, in 3D videos, but all that, I mean, you have the working sample there on the videos. And this sample we will put in our proof of concept in our classroom. We will let it run 24/7 for 2 weeks. Every token holder could attend and watch, and
so is the magnet generator being used to power anything right now, or is this just kind of a concept?
Anything, and it could power anything up to 5 kilowatt. Our core customers are just private homeowners, 1 and 2 family home units, up to 5 kilowatt only. So that is enough to power your oven, your hair dryer, and your television and your fridge. But it's nothing industrial. And
it's just like an isolated, you don't have to plug it into the wall or anything like that. Okay, so I mean, I'm just, it's totally different than what we're used to.
That's the point. We're not talking about a gadget like a flying drone with 4K video. Hey, it's free energy. And that is huge.
Now, Roberto, so you mentioned earlier that we're kind of at the floppy disk stage in terms of this type of energy.
Yes.
So do you see this kind of project being able to be, mass-produced and scaled and eventually power buildings in New York, or?
Definitely, because we are surrounded by energy demand. There's nothing would work without electricity.
We are not talking only about the average American customer who is interested to cut a little bit of his energy bills down because the air condition is very expensive in summer. For example, if we take Africa, we have a huge malaria problem in Africa. And this malaria problem is not a problem of medical cure or pharmaceuticals. The problem is to keep them cool, to have fridges who keep the medicine cool until the moment you need it.
Energy really, I mean, it has huge economic applications.
Of course.
Global power structure has been based on this. I mean, so it could really change all of that around. Now, how did you get, Bryan, like this device that somebody created, it's a very brilliant person, and take that to investors? Like, how do you bridge that gap?
There's a few ways. At the end of the day, most of it's relational. It's conversational because, as has been shared, there is a little bit of a mind shift that needs to occur, right? We've all been sort of programmed and thought of this is where energy comes from. It comes from a socket in the wall that comes from a grid, which is true. So for an investor to now go, hey, or an individual to go, yes, you can keep doing that. There's also another way. it takes an individual or a company or an entity willing to kind of look at outside the box, as it were, to use that phrase. So a lot of this is obviously being here, getting this more out into the world and known. A lot of it's through the work we'll be doing with the UN and in tandem with this charitable fund. And then the other is inviting people to engage in the discussion. Right, here it is. Here's proof of concept model. Here's the device that's been running for 24 days, 48 days, half a year. If that doesn't convince you, our job really, I wouldn't say is to convince. Our job is to display and invite the discussion.
To show and to show what can actually be done. I think energy is one of those areas that's just changing so quickly. We see the electric vehicles and of course the UN is behind it and trying to make global changes. So I appreciate you coming here. Thank you, best of luck, and I hope you come back and share your accomplishments and milestones. Thank you
very much.
Thank you for being here.